Hi, loved ones. This is Elana Kilkenny, sacred home designer and intuitive counselor. And this is the beginning of a series of videos and some Instagram lives I'm going to be doing here about home. So for the past 20 years, I have worked with my beloved clients worldwide, not only in person, but also via Zoom and on the phone, doing sessions about how to come home to yourself via your home. And also how basically as you shift your home, it actually shifts your life. Never has that concept of coming home to yourself, I feel, been more on point and more potent than it is now, with so many of us around the world being asked to basically stay in our homes. And with that, we all are in different situations. Some of us have apartments, some of us have houses, some of us maybe even on dorms. Some of us are living solo, some of us are with partners or spouses. Some of us might, again, have families. Me, I live in New York City in an apartment with my husband and my two kids. They're 13 and 9. So I really want to offer different tips and resources and hopefully conversation with you to help you on how to continue to evolve your space, look at your space differently, organize your space, basically everything having to do with your home in a way that can be more nourishing for you, can be more functional for you, and can also bring in some of the qualities that you're needing right now and support you're needing right now, as well as to an eye to the future. And we'll talk about that when we're living in uncertain times. It's not a prediction thing in terms of what we're talking about with our home, but it is important to seed and continue to weave your dreams and your hopes into your home and have that reflected back to you. One way that I like to think of it is that your home is like a giant vision board, if you will. Vision boards have become so popular over the last few years, they've been around forever. But if you think of your home as this visual template, reflecting back to your stories and your narratives that are both conscious and unconscious of who you are now, of who you've been, of who you're becoming. If you decide to become a more conscious narrator and creator of that space, it becomes a very alive space in a way, not only of how it inspires and nurtures you during this time, but also in a way how it literally can be a catalyst and an inspiration for the future. We're going to speak a lot. I know in my intuitive counseling work, I've been doing a lot of Zoom sessions with clients on intuitive counseling as well, which is more, again, intuitive coaching, empowerment coaching and leadership coaching. And we've really focused on the importance right now on balancing both really practicing the mastery of being present, because truthfully at any given time, that's all we have is the present. And if there's ever a time where I think we're being asked to get quieter and to get clearer and to get more connected to presence in the present, it is now. But as well, it's about also not only necessarily planning, but also seeding dreams or seeding actions towards the future. And it is important to keep hope alive during this time and to really know that there will be a time beyond this, and that with that, so many things are possible, and that in a way, this could be a great time to incubate, to marinate, to create new things, or just even to heal some things, or simply, depending on your situations, to just be and to learn how to surrender to where you are right now and meet your basic needs and or your family's basic needs. So again, none of us are in the same position right now. Some of us might be actually thriving under these conditions and seeing a lot of gifts and silver linings. Some of us might be suffering a lot, or having a lot of challenge, or having other family members or loved ones that are. Some of us, might even be sick and quarantined in a different way, whether it's the COVID-19 or whether it's other illnesses that you might have. So again, there's no one size fits all for this, but what my hope is in this area and through this forum is that if you have certain topics or questions that you'd like me to possibly cover in an Instagram Live or in one of these IGTV videos, please leave a comment below the post, and let me know, and you can continue doing that, and I'll kind of intuit which ones to kind of delve into and talk about. So for now, what I want to talk about is just some simple things to possibly look at space differently. And I want to start by saying what this is not a good time for, and never is, and it's not at all the way that I approach work, although I know that you might be seeing a lot of posts or kind of marketing stuff around this. My approach to sacred home design is never about perfectionism, ever. In fact, perfectionism is always a manifestation of fear, and I work with a lot of people around that. It's really about making more conscious decisions, and not only design-wise, but just decisions around your home and how you create it, how you set it up, what you keep in it, what you let go of, what you bring into it, how you rearrange it. And it really isn't dependent on a budget either. You know, there's some suggestions that do necessitate bringing in other things, but if you're not in a position right now with everything that's going on, or where your budget is to buy more things or bring things in, this actually could be very much about just even seeing your space through new eyes. It could be about rearranging. It could be about repurposing things in a different way, or shifting your space in a way that will make it better for you. So for today, we only, we're going to kind of just go into a little bit of those topics. And where I want to start with today is about seeing your home through new eyes, because for some of you, you might not be used to spending a lot of time at home. For most of us, we're probably not used to spending this much time at home. And if you can start shifting the way that you view it, it could be very powerful. And again, there's no one size fits all, but to give you a sense of some shifts in perception, a lot of us can feel really trapped. I'm somebody personally who actually loves being at home, but I'm also very much a Sagittarius, and I love going out. One of the reasons I live in New York City is I love exploring different neighborhoods. I have favorite places or areas. I love travel. I love both having time on my own and time with my family. I also love having time by myself, and I love having time with friends and new experiences and meeting new people. And so this has been a huge adjustment. But the way that I think it's important, if you feel trapped and there's nothing you can do about it because you have to be home, what you can do something about it, and it might be something you have to cultivate, is changing the way you look at it and changing your perception to feeling gratitude for your home and feeling grateful that it's a choice to keep yourself healthy and safe, a choice also to help keep others healthy and safe. But then even taking it a step further, because that might only go so far for your heart in terms of feeling trapped. I think it's also really recognizing, the gratitude that you have a home, the gratitude that maybe this is an opportunity for you to help create a space that really nourishes you in a different way. And maybe you've never spent that much time thinking about your home and how it works for you or doesn't work for you. And there can be a lot of gifts in that. Again, in looking at that, you might, don't get discouraged. There might be things that you're really unhappy about in your home and really frustrated. And I would say to you, to the extent that you're in a position either to make changes based on your time that you have at home, based on the energy that you have, sometimes based on budget, depending on what you're thinking of, or based on, what's doable. Like, for instance, this is not a great time for those of us who are in areas where we're really being asked not to congregate. It's not a great time necessarily to do like big renovations and to have a bunch of people in your home to do that. But there are many people, as long as you're feeling good and your lung capacity is good and you have good aeration. I know some people are deciding to, use the no VOC paint and maybe paint a room that they're not in all the time so they can let it air out, but to have a different feel for it and to use that time to do projects around the home that they've always wanted to do or should do but haven't done. Or, simply even to switch out, some decorative pieces like, you know, your throw pillows, or maybe some curtains, maybe before privacy wasn't as big of an issue for you because you weren't there as much, or the lighting worked for you because, again, you came home, you know, later after work. So maybe you're finding you need something that's more blackout. Maybe you don't know how to install shades that are blackout, so you can always get blackout curtains. And that can be on all budgets. There's great things, everything from the high end to, you know, great places like West Elm or Anthropologie, where I get a lot of my curtains, actually, including the one behind me. You know, Walmart has an amazing line that Drew Barrymore did with them that I love, that's very kind of boho chic and incredibly well priced. And Target has some great things. Etsy, you might have to sort through it a bit, but you can find some great things on Etsy as well, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. If you are more crafty and you happen to know how to sew or have a sewing machine, you can make some things. And this is a great time to be crafty and to kind of learn that. But again, if it's not about buying something new to kind of refresh that space, you can also just look at your space through new eyes and see, is there anything you want to subtract right now or put away for now, or even get rid of for now? Are there things that maybe just need to be reframed, like literally, like maybe you just need to move some art to another position to enjoy it more, to see it differently. Maybe there's some furniture that you're realizing now in the way you're navigating space isn't really working for you. Or maybe you don't really have a separate corner or separate area to do some reading, and instead of just having one place where you're just sitting on the couch and doing your work and eating passably and watching Netflix, maybe it's either repurposing another chair or getting a chair, or even getting some big, you know, floor pillows that you might already have, and setting up a different nook where you can kind of have like a reading nook or a corner, to not only have a kind of a different place, so you're not just sitting in the same place and kind of feeling like you're stuck, but also having kind of a designated space for a different experience really does change your experience of it, and might actually make you want to read more, or, you know, meditate more, or whatever, you know, is that calling that you're feeling that maybe you really want, but maybe you're also resisting, or you just simply haven't made the space for. There's this old movie, I mean, not that old, but from when I was a kid, called Field of Dreams. And there's a line that became very famous, just was, if you build it, they will come. Well, if you create it, you will use it. You know, if you create a space for something, it becomes an alive space in terms of the way you use it. So I want to end just as these little quick notes with a practice that I do with a lot of clients, that in a lot of the workshops I've done, in places like ABC Carpet and Home and many other places. I usually walk people through this, and it's called See Your Home Through New Eyes. So what you do is generally ask people to do this on their way home and outside of their door, but right now you can do it from within your door, right? So you start on the inside of your home already at your front door, and you take a few deep breaths and you close your eyes, and you actually tell yourself, I'm going to ask to see my space through new eyes. And then you walk through your space, and some of us don't have a big enough space to necessarily do this in this way, so you just walk however you can walk. But if there's a certain route that you take in terms of what rooms you go to first, or you come in and you check your emails or whatever first, don't do that. Come in and walk in a different way and a different pathway through your home. And that will help you see your home through new eyes. And ask yourself, kind of set an intention to have a curious mindset and not a judgmental mindset. And you're going to look with curiosity and just take note. Notice what calls to you, what still feels like you, what feels blocking, what you might not like anymore, what you would love to get rid of. What are the things that are really kind of calling to you and speaking to you to maybe shift, or maybe to keep, or maybe to look at differently, and make a note of it. And again, as I said, with a curious mind, not a judgmental mind. And then I would sit somewhere and see, is there any action item in there? Is it an action item, meaning having to do more with shifting of your mind about things and your perception of it? Or is there an action item of something that you actually need to get or shift out, or change. Let me know how it goes. I would love to hear from you, and also know that I am doing Zoom sessions for people around the world for both sacred home design if you need some more personalized help, or also I'm doing a lot of intuitive counseling sessions as well, which again are more empowered, intuitive and psychic sessions and coaching.